Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Authentic You podcast. So, today I want to talk about the elephant in the room. So, we've been talking a lot recently about the kind of internal leadership, the nervous system, your passion, your purpose, and why you're here. But this big elephant that I feel is in the room at the moment to talk about is world events. So, caveat here, I'm not going to talk about world events. Okay. Um, but if you're sat here today thinking, oh my gosh, and even if you don't watch, I'm not going to actually talk about anything, right? Because I don't want to give anything attention. But what I want to talk about is why, like the why everything is happening and what we can actually do about it in terms of our sensitive leadership. Okay. So, even if you live under a rock, you're going to be feeling it, right? So, even if you haven't watched the news, if you've seen the weather, if you've been in the UK, we've just had the most insane heat wave. Like, there's been a lot going on in the world. And if you are sensitive, and if you're like me and you don't even really watch the news or anything like that, then you're still going to be feeling it. So I feel today to actually address that elephant in the room. And the way that we can treat that elephant in the room is the way that we need to treat anything that comes up into our awareness. So this is no different to this being a emotion or a part of your shadow self or a trauma or anything like that, where actually we need to give space for these things to come up and then we can consciously choose what to do with it. Okay. So, similarly to how we would work with a trauma, a pattern, a belief system, a emotion, something that's going on for you where we would do that deep work, we would not spiritually bypass that. We would not say, the clearing work as well, right? We wouldn't say, oh, let's just ignore that and let's just stay in positivity. Let's just stay in love and light. No, we would go in, we would look at it, we would understand why it's there. We would see what needs to be shifted. And by giving it attention in a exploratory, curious way, that would allow that to release and to balance within us. So this is really what I'm feeling this week is like, let's just acknowledge the reality that we're in right now, the reality that we've been in for the last 5 years. I think, really this journey started in 2020 when suddenly it was like, what is going on with the world right now? Okay. And this has continued in different guises, in different forms, this feeling of uncertainty, division, overwhelm. Okay. So we don't want to dramatize that. And actually, this is what I'm not for. I'm not here to dramatize this. It is so easy to get pulled into all these conspiracy theories and, the government out to get us and like all of the things. If we end up down those rabbit holes, like that's not healthy. And actually, that takes us away from the work that we're here to do as well. But equally, we don't want to spiritually bypass it. So if I was sat here with you today saying it's all love and light and um, let's just ignore it. Everything is like the highest good and everything is amazing. You'd be thinking, what are you on about? The world is in utter chaos. All right. So with all of these things, I call this like the denial dramatize. Like we don't want to dramatize, which used to be me, right? I used to be fixated on the news. And don't get me wrong, I am now still quite obsessed with like weather and stuff like that. But it's because it's more of a curiosity for me and it's something that I'm interested in rather than this like insane obsession for like constantly seeing what was going on, which was, of course, a neurodivergent, like hypervigilant strategy. If I know what is going on, then I'm safe and I'm hypervigilant to that. Okay. So we don't want to dramatize. And this is what we see happening in society at the moment, um, it's quite a matrix thing, right? One person complains and then another person complains, or we talk about the news, or someone shares their struggles and someone else says, "Oh, yeah, I've got this struggle now." And we kind of connect over that struggle. And when I kind of dip in and out of the matrix, I see this and I forget people do this. And I just don't I just don't play the game, and people are like, "What? She's not willing to come down to my struggles with me?" And it's not about denying them. It's just that we know, or like on an energetic level, on a neuroscience level, actually the best way to flourish and the best way to actually tap into your sensitive leadership and why you're here. Okay. So we don't want to deny it totally and be like, it's all love and light. Let's just all go sit up a hill and meditate and everything will be fine. Like, let's just avoid it. Or, this is where we start to see like over blocking, over boundaries. And this was me. This was very much me in 2020. I kind of went into this phase, but also I feel like I had to be there as well, which is like, I don't want to know what's going on in the news. Don't know, don't care, don't want to be part of it. Every time someone tried to talk to me about it, I was like, no, not interested. That's not my reality. Actually, it led to a quantum jump. So, it was kind of this is like when my whole life changed. So actually, like a little bit of delulu, a little bit of denial is actually a good thing, as long as we're not suppressing. Does that make sense? We don't want to dramatize, we don't want to deny. But the very fact that I want to bring to you today is that you are sensitive and your nervous system is picking up more information, more emotions, more energies, and more subtle shifts, whether you're aware of it or not. Okay? So the problem is not that you're too sensitive. It's not that you have something wrong with you. If you're noticing these parts of you, the parts of you that want the part of you, the healthy part of you, that's like, no, actually, or maybe you're not even expressing it, right? But you might be feeling it. No, actually, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to know about that drama. I don't need you to recycle to me what's on the news just because I don't watch the news. Like, if you're resonating with these things, and you might even, have other people saying, "Oh, okay, calm down, you're a bit sensitive or you're a bit emotional," like all the things, that part of you is really valid because you're simply feeling what is going on in the world. Like, you're feeling it. You're feeling what everyone else is feeling, and you're absorbing what was never yours to carry. Okay. So, as sensitive leaders, we actually do have to care a bit less, right? And this is hard to hear. And this is some of the like harmful stuff that gets pumped out into the spiritual community as well. Have kindness, have compassion, have empathy, send more love to people, right? Walk down the street and send love. I noticed it in myself yesterday. I walked into a charity shop yesterday and it was a little bit odd. And the lady in the shop, I was just looking at some of the things, and the lady in the shop turned to me and said, "Oh, all these clothes keep falling off the hangers." I was just like, "Oh, right, okay." And then she said, "It's the ghost." I was like, "Okay, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute." And the old me would have been like, "Oh, shit." Well, I either would have gone into fear and like, "Oh no, I've walked into a building when there's a spiritual problem," or I would have gone into my ego and gone, "I'm here for a reason. I'm here to fix it. Um, I need to fix it. I need to help her. Like, I need to help this shop. I need to help the charity. I need to help all the things," right? That's just ego. But instead, I just laughed it off and I was like, "Oh, right, okay." But then I did ask the question. I did say, "Is there any harm? Is there any harm being done here? Or is it just playful throwing clothes off hangers?" Like, no, it wasn't aggressive, but anyway. So I asked if there was any harm. She was like, "Oh, no, no, no." But she said, "I've been trying to work with it. I've been trying to clear it." So had I not asked that question, I wouldn't have understood that actually the lady that worked there is actually working on the space at the moment. And it's her responsibility because she's there. It's not my responsibility. Okay. It's her shop. But yeah, just interesting seeing these responses in myself, because this is no different to a response to the news or something going on for someone else or something going on in your community, where you're either like, I could have been like, oh no. And as I left the shop, I just cleared my field just in case. But, there's no drama in that. It's like, okay, maybe I should have gone. I mean, I didn't get a full body, no. I was kind of neutral going in there. But after I was in there a few minutes, I was like, actually, like, this is just from a chi perspective, like, this shop is like quite cluttered energy wise. So I'm going to get out. Okay. Cleared my energy just in case. But in the past, I think I would have gone into like, oh my gosh, what have I gone into? There's clearly a spiritual issue in that shop. Or into my ego. Take me, show me, let me help you. Like, all these people that are being affected, and it's my responsibility to help. Okay. No, 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 no. Okay. So we need to care a little bit less. We actually need to care a little bit less. And Fiona and I talked about this. If you haven't listened to the podcast episode that we recorded with the lovely Fiona Joy, this is where we go into a bit of a discussion about this spiritually as well. But this is true for everything. We actually need to care a little less, because as a sensitive, as an empath, you have cared and overcared and overcared and overgiven and people pleased for your likelihood for most of your life. So we actually need to care less. And these messages about like, take responsibility and be more compassionate and be more kind, like, you're already over compassionate and kind. Okay. So we have to remember that we can see, feel, know, not deny, and we don't need to go into like dramatically saving the world either. Okay. It is not your job. I don't know who needs to hear this today, but it is not your job to save the entire world. Okay. You have your aligned tribe of people that you are here to lead, that your soul chose to lead, and you have free will choice based on your sacred yes and your no in your body, that compass direction in your body of like, yeah, this feels right, this feels expansive. And the other thing is, you're gonna get so many ideas when you're in alignment. When you're in alignment, you're gonna get so many ideas coming through. You're gonna be like, I want to do this, and this is exciting, and I'm gonna do this. And the reality is you can't do them all. Okay. So just know that you are enough. Listen to your body, respond to those things with your body of like, okay, this thing is coming through. And it might be a thing that's coming through in response to what's going on in the world. So, what I find is when I give myself space, I give myself that space to kind of disconnect, but to kind of know and feel into. And sometimes I talk about this as like going to view the news with 5D goggles, right? So, we know that everything that is pumped out to you on the media, like, is done with some kind of intent to manipulate, right? We only see what they want us to see. So, what I do occasionally, especially if the energy feels particularly dense, so I know there's been a blast in the Schumann resonance, like, I will put my 5D goggles on, okay, and I will go and look at the news from when I'm in a good place, from a detached perspective, to go, what is it that they're trying to manipulate today? What is it that they want us to see? And go and look with that 5D energetic view on that to understand what I'm feeling, because sometimes what we're feeling isn't the thing itself, it's this collective dramatic, and there's layers to that, right? There's like ancestral, there's like all the layers that come up with that, because usually what we're feeling isn't the thing itself. So I can feel that the light codes coming in. I can feel like when my sleep gets a bit disrupted, when I know there's like a full moon or chaotic energies going on, right? There's a difference between that and then that collective panic, dramatic panic happening, which is being fueled by the media. I have to say, it is being fueled by the media. And things have got so much worse since 2020 because that was the plan. The plan was to create fear, to see if they could control us through the things that I'm not going to mention. Okay, so we have to be aware of this and know that you are here to feel what it is that the collective needs, to feel what it is that your tribe of people that are aligned with you need, so that you can deliver on that. And the window to that is your sacred yes and your sacred no. I am all about efficiency. I am ever the time optimizer. I'm the one who's putting the kettle on while I'm folding the washing. Like, I used to be really chaotic with this, but now it's just balanced. And if you follow your sacred yes only, like only moving on that full bodied yes, if you have no information. So the example I talked about earlier about the shop I went in yesterday, let's just say this was a bigger thing. Like, this was just in the moment, I'd just, popped into town. But just to use this as an example to bring this to life, okay? I'm outside the shop. I'm neutral. I'm like, do I go in that shop or do I not? If I'd have seen something in the window, like, take this metaphorically, if I'd have seen something in the window that made me go, whoa, get that lit up feeling, I want that thing in my house. I get that lit up feeling in my body. That is full body, yes, go in the shop, buy the thing. Metaphorically, right? Just think about this as an example and how this relates to things for you. Okay. Let's say I'm neutral and I suddenly notice that there is a really dark piece of furniture in that shop. Don't even get me started on furniture. Like, this is not about furniture today, but just a side note, actually. Someone obviously needs to hear this today. So a house that I went to house sit for a few years ago, I won't go into detail. Some of you know the story. It was an incredibly spiritually traumatic experience. I experienced the worst of the worst, the darkest of the darkest energies ever there. And I'm really glad that I did, because although it was incredibly terrifying, it was terrifying, right? But I had this beautiful dog and 4 cats to look after, and the people were abroad, so I had to do it, right? But I'm so grateful that I did it, because now I can deeply feel and understand how to deal with those energies. Like, this has majorly deepened my work, and in particular my clearing work. Anyway, side point, got other podcast episodes on that one. What I did was I looked up this house on Rightmove because I was nosy and because it was huge, and I wanted to see how much it sold for, because I felt like I was in a mansion. I was in a mansion. And I thought, I'm just going to see how much this house is worth, right? I go to Rightmove and I look at the pictures from a few years ago when this house has been sold to its current owners, and the house looks so light, so fresh. And I'm like, what the actual F has happened, right? Don't tend to see things go that downhill. Usually with older places, they've kind of gone downhill over the years, and then, there'll be a refresh, like things will get better. Especially with cats, because cats are natural clearers. Like, dogs can bring a lot of grit and a lot of dirt and a lot of bad energy. I'm sorry, I love dogs, but they do bring in a lot of dirt, which brings in a lot of energy. So with dogs, you have to like really stay on top of the energy. Whereas with cats, generally, like, unless you have a litter tray that you stay on top of, generally with cats are just naturally clearing. Okay. So dogs are more grounding, cats are more clearing. Again, something I didn't expect to go into today. Anyway, so this made no sense. And what I came to realize is they had brought so many antiques into the house. And the antiques had brought energies and entities into the house. And it was the antiques that were the problem. And nobody had cleared them. They'd just gone, oh, this is nice, we'll have that, without really understanding it. Okay. So back to the shop, I might have seen something like that in the shop and gone, no, get out, okay? Just to bring this to life for you. So it doesn't matter what it is, it's understanding your sacred yes, which is your green light to go, your neutral, which is your amber light, and your sacred no, which is your stop. And then this, having these boundaries around this, gives you more energy to put towards where you desire to go, the change you actually desire to create in this world, and the change that would actually help the people in this world, help the drama, help the chaos and all of the things, okay? So this is why you have to take responsibility for that. And when you do that, you take responsibility for your energy, and then you're able to lead on that deeper level. If I had not embodied and fully integrated in every cell of my being my sacred yes and my sacred no, I know full well I would not be able to serve you as deeply. I would not be able to go as deep with this message today. I would not be able to have that connection with the divine and channel those messages, right? I wouldn't be able to hold clients through the deepest of the deep, the darkest of the dark, clearing demons, entities, the most darkest energies, dealing with some really horrible dark traumas, and creating incredible multi-dimensional magic. Multi-dimensional magic, an absolute dream lives, dream homes, dream partners, all the things, right? It is both. It is the darkest. What I find in clients is the darkest of the dark, the deeper you're willing to go, the more you're willing to heal your trauma, the more you're willing to work somatically with your body to remove things, to honor your own darkness, to honor your shadow self, the lighter the light, the higher you can go, the more turned on your spiritual gifts become. But that takes boundaries, and your boundaries are your leadership. And when they are fully embodied into that sacred yes and no, this is when you can be of greater service to the world. This is when your cup is truly full and it's overspilling to the brim into the saucer, and then it is the saucer that you give to the world to be of service to the world. And it is no accident that you are here at this time on this planet for a reason, right? And again, elephant in the ring, you might be thinking, what on earth? Why have I been put here at this time for these last 5 to 6 years when it appears that the world has gone into absolute utter chaos? Like, how much of this can I, how much of this can I cope with, right? Elephant in the room. But it is not an accident. It is not an accident that you are here at this time. You are here at this time for a reason, for you to know, to feel, to embody, to anchor this in so that you can help what is going on in the world right now in your authentic, aligned way, and be paid well for that. Be paid for your sensitivities. That's what you're here to do. That's your service to the world in your authentic way. The how, that's unique to you. But I can tell you the what is, I feel it, so I know, and then I can deliver on it. So if this is resonating with you, I have just opened up the doors to my sensitive leadership reset. This is the perfect time in these energies right now to do this work. And I hear what you're saying. And so many of you are saying you want to work with me one-to-one, but you don't want to commit to working with me for X amount of months or X amount a month. You want something that is going to reset you into using your sensitivities as superpowers, for being paid to that. You want something that is going to shift you deeply and quickly and have my eyes and my dedicated time on you. This is why I have created the sensitive leadership reset. So what you're going to get is a call with me You're going to get 3 days VIP with me in a container in Telegram. And this, I will tell you, this is worth 10 times more than the investment of the whole reset. And you're going to get super clear on your sacred yes and your sacred no and your compass in your body and how to turn your incredible sensitive gifts into your superpowers so that you can truly bring in that abundance that you know you deserve. You know you deserve. You've always felt there is something more, right? You've always felt there is a deeper, more aligned, more abundant life, love, business for you. This is why we're doing it. This is why. So if you are listening to this on the audio version, reach out to me on socials, drop me a message. And if you're watching this on the video version, pop reset in comments. And I'd also love to know, just in general, like, where are people watching this from? I'm really intrigued at what reach I have globally, because I know you guys are from all over the world. So I'd love for you to also pop in comments if you're watching this video, or message me on social media, or screenshot this and put this on your stories and tag me and let me know where you're from. Because I'm so intrigued at where, I know we have global reach here, but yeah, where are you listening to this from? Where are you watching this from? So let me know in comments or reach out to me about what has really landed with you with this today, as we've brought the elephant out and we've kind of softly massaged the elephant. The elephant's pretty happy. The elephant's pretty happy right now rather than leaving it in the corner. So pop reset in comments if you would like to know details of this new one-to-one offer. And I'm sending you so much love for your week ahead. Bye for now.